Welcome back to Arsenal. Right now, the screen is covered, and you're going to see my face in. You're going to see my face. I am listening to something while I do this very long video, but hopefully you will enjoy it. And I'm going to be wearing a cap and some headphones while I listen to the stuff on my video. And I'm going to reveal myself in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here I am, the first video in a long time. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different movie reviews. We've got 3 from one franchise. We've got a couple of Disney Channel original movies. We've got a couple of new. We've got a new animated film. We've got a new Netflix film. A new animated Netflix film. We've got a couple of Disney films, Disney and Pixar films, and we're gonna get through today's episode. My iPad just fell, but like I said, I'm going to be reviewing 11 movies. Like I said, digital movies, Disney / Pixar films, a new animated Netflix film, and a Netflix horror movie franchise that's just come out. That's come out in the previous 5 Fridays. So we got a lot. So, as you can see, there's the good, there's the bad. You're seeing this backwards, but there's the good. I'm seeing this backwards, but there's the good, the bad. I'm looking at this backwards because of this. We have the good, we have the bad, and we have a rating out of 100. Like I said, it's back. And how I'm working this out, I'm going to give 5 good points, rank them out of 20 for how good they are. 5 bad points, rank them out of 10 for how bad they are. And I'm going to minus the points for the good. We're going to minus the points for the bad away from the points for the good. And that got this rating. So it'll be 100 or something. Let's give an example. 100 minus 0 would be 100. But that would not happen. The only way that can happen is if one of them doesn't, if one of them doesn't get any bad points. And there is one movie on here that gets not a single bad point about it because it was such a good film. So, we got the first film is a Disney Channel original movie called Invisible Sister. It's a Halloween body swap. It's a Halloween Disney Channel original movie episode. We got a couple of them on here. This stars 2 very famous Disney actresses. We've got Paris Barelek, who plays one of the characters, and she's known for Lab Rats. She's known for appearing in one episode of the Lab Rats. She's known for Mighty Med. She's known for Hubie Halloween on Netflix, and you've got a Disney Channel actress, Ryan Blanchard, known for Girl Meets World and all that kind of a few other Disney Channel things. I'm gonna have to store this episode for a small amount of time because I really need to get my fan. Because I'm gonna get hot. Okay. So we have, like I said, we have Evolver's sister. So good point number one is going to be Paris Barel's performance, and good number two is going to be Rowan Blanchard's performances. Their two performances in the main characters, as the main characters, were spot on. And they get 20 out of 20. Now the plot is about two sisters, one who a less achieving sibling and a more achieving sibling. Passport plays the more achieving sibling, the popular sibling, whereas Rowan Blanchard plays the out of. But literally, basically, Rowan Blanchard is the Katie Heron of Invisible Sister. Passport is the Regina George of Invisible Sister. The popular girl versus the new girl versus not the new girl, but kind of the new girl. Next up is, so that's the plot, and then Rowan Blanchard's character accidentally manages to make Passport Barel's character disappear, which is, and then from that they have to, Rowan Blanchard's character Cleo has to pretend to be her sister because of her sister being invisible, and by the end of the film they end up, reversing everything back to normal. The plot is basically near perfect, and that's going to. And that's why the plot is going to be 20. The characters, we have Paris Barel's character, we have Rowan Blanchard's character, we have the love interest. We have the love interest for Rowan Blanchard's character, we have the boyfriend of Paris Barel's character, we have Paris Barel's character's friends, we have a geeky kid played by Karen Bra, we got the geeky kid's crush, and that's a very diverse set of characters, and that's why it's 20 out of 20. And next up is going to be sibling dynamic. The sibling dynamic in this film is perfectly spot on. There will be a sibling dynamic later on in this list where it just doesn't work that well. But 100 out of 100 for good, because they're out of 20. All 5, 20 out of 20. So 100 out of 100 for the good. Now the bad, we got the lack of a villain. Villains, the best part of a film is a villain. Most movies need villains, but this movie doesn't have a villain, which is a bit annoying, which is a bit bad. But it's not the end of the world. That's going to get a 4 out of 10. Because everything else worked, except there was just no villain. The parents were literally oblivious in this episode. They had one scene and they left for the rest of the movie. That's why it gets a 5 out of 10. We have the weird character, the guy who I just talked about, played by Karen Barr. At parts of the film, he was a bit too weird and geeky, which you don't want to be too weird. Yes, you're the geeky. Yes, you're the geeky character, but you don't have to overzealous it too much. Next up, the characters are oblivious on how Molly disappeared. Every character that finds out about Molly, that Molly finds out about Molly's disappearing act, in being turned invisible, they're just oblivious to it. They just react like someone would react when they find out that one of the people they know has been turned invisible. Next up, we have Molly's boyfriend stupidity. Molly's boyfriend, Paris Barrett's character, was kind of stupid, and it's not the end of the world, but it does take away from the film. So it was lack of a villain, 4 out of 10. The parents, 5 out of 10. The weird character, 1 out of 10, because it wasn't the end of the world. The character oblivious, 4. The characters of oblivious, 4 out of 10. Molly's boyfriend's stupidity, 4 out of 10. So it's 100 minus 18, which is 82. So this film gets 82 out of 100. Great film, good score, and deserves the 82. Let's move on to the second, and I'm gonna say final review of this episode. We're gonna split it into a couple of episodes. I was gonna do it one large episode, but I'm not going to do that anymore. But we're gonna start off. We are now on this next one, and the one after this are Disney and Pixar films. The final one of this episode is going to be Raya. It's going to be Raya and the Last Dragon, the new Disney film, the newest Disney film, the Disney film that came out after the Disney film that came out after Onward. And let's see. So, like I said, 5 points bad each point out of 20. 5 points good each out of 20. 5 points bad each out of 10. Minus the good, the bad from the good. Because in a lot of superhero movies, the good cancels out the bad. In this case, it's the bad taking away from the good. Okay, so first up is going to be Raya and Zizu the Dragon. The relation, them as a group, them as a duo, good. They're both very good at fighting. 19 out of 20. We've got the relationship between family and friends. Now, a big part of some movies is the family and friends, and I feel like the relationship between family and friends in this film is spot on. Different worlds with many different families, with misfits, with a single player out of each, with a single person or animal, with a set of survivors from the turning stone, a set of survivors after the main villain attacks, just like after the main non-human villain attacks, which we'll get to later. That is just the build-up of it is just good. We now have Raya. We now have Raya's pet tuk-tuk. He's like a rolly. He's like a. I don't know what. I don't know what type of animal. I don't know what type of animal tuk-tuk was in this film. Like, I still can't. Like an armadillo, kind of. Next time we have the villains. So the villains, I'll get back to the best villain. So we have we have the ruler of one of the tribes, Fang, and her daughter as one of the villains, and a special sort of creature called the Droon, which are people that can turn, which are beings that turn people into stone when if they pass them. I'll talk about the Droon later on. Next up, we have the backstory and ending. The backstory on how Zizu was the last dragon left, and the ending having all the dragons come back after Raya and the last dragon, after Raya and her friends succeed, is just great. So that's 20 out of 20 for the final four, 19 out of 20 for Raya and Zizu the dragon. We now have the bad. The bad are going to be the tribes, the other three tribes, apart from Fang and Heart. Fang and Heart are... Fang is the tribe where the two main villains are, and the Heart is the tribe that Raya belongs to. Other than that, we only spend a couple of scenes in the other three tribes. That's why it's in the bad. The next up is going to be the setting. The setting is... It's magical, it's mystical, but we don't spend too much time in the main. I think I'd say in the main setting, which is Heart, which is the tribe of Heart. We just don't spend much time in each of the tribes. We don't spend much scenes in each of the worlds where the tribes live. Next up we've got the parts about the Droon. The thing that annoys me about the Droon is they have no motivations, and to be a good villain you need good motivations. They just don't have any motivations. They don't do anything in this film. Next up, we have parts of the plot. Some of the plot is awful. Like the Droon, like I'm saying, they're not awful, but they're just awful. Them not having any motivations just sucks. It's also very interesting, the plot. The part about the dragons plot, the part of the plot involving the dragons, good. The part of the plot involving the Droon, less good. And with the rest of those, we get to the final bad point, and it's the Dragon Gem. And finally, the last one is we have the Dragon Gem. The main, where the story focuses. The main thing the story focuses on. The thing I hate about this is why do the tribes need the Dragon Gem for themselves? And why don't they just allow the leader of Heart to keep the Dragon Gem so they can have their town can come back to normal? I just don't get it. So, out of 100, we had 99 for the good. Out of 50, we got 19 out of 50 for the bad. When you minus 19 and 99, when you minus 19 from 99, you get a score of 80. And that is going to be it for the movie reviews. We've completed 2, we've got 9 to go. But that's going to be it for this long episode, this quite long episode. But until next time, and subscribe to my channel, keep noticing the bell to catch up with all my latest videos. But until the next video where we do more of these reviews, I am out. Please subscribe. Bye.